Arga Watershed Basin Model. Same ra gyud sa katungkuan. Ito ang reference. Kani ba set up HMS model through GeoHMS sa ArcMap. Kira sakto ra? Okay, ikaw daw una, Jack. Mag-start ay kanang present daw ta.
Ikaw. So, good morning, Miss.
Good afternoon, Sad.
So, good afternoon, Miss Aure. So, our study is all about time series, hydrologic modeling of Arga watershed using remotely sensed data. So, the researchers are leader, Cavite Claire
Yo,
Pauline B.
kayo ingon leader.
So, the researchers are Claire Pauline B. Cavite, Jack Sala, and Rachel Tumula.
Look, naman ni.
So, our problem is the problem of our thesis is the occurrences of flooding in the Arga watershed highlight a critical need for an in-depth investigation into the hydrological dynamics of the area. Despite the prevalence of flooding events, there is a lack of comprehensive time series hydrologic model integrated with remotely sensed data for the Arga watershed. So our objective is first integrate remotely sensed data to delineate the catchment of the Arga watershed. So we will be utilizing SARDEM to identify and map the boundaries of the watershed area of Argao. Second is develop a time series hydrologic model for the Argao watershed. So this model will help us better understand and predict the processes within the watershed of Argao over time. Third is calibrate the time series hydrologic model to accurately simulate the actual discharge of the river within the Argao watershed. So it involves adjusting the model's parameters so that amo ang simulated output will be closely matches to the observed discharge data. It involves setting up the model, collecting the data, adjusting parameters like initial abstraction, curve number, time of concentration, initial discharge, ratio to peak, and etc. And
Ah,
also
Jack,
validating.
kuan ba? Sa kana nga part ba? Ayaw na lang na i-mention ang katong kuan unsa na parameter kay ako to ibutang sa methodology.
Okay, so
Kaya
mga dire lang ko kutob sa kanang it involves setting up the model, collecting data, and
oh,
refining it iteratively for more precise simulations.
oh
So
kana.
next. So fourth one is analyze the calibrated data using model evaluation performance ratings to quantify the accuracy and reliability of the hydrologic model in simulating actual discharge. So this part here we will analyze of what does the calibrated model performance rating attained based on our i-mention ako tong RMSA or dili na lang po.
Ayaw na lang sad kay kang Rachel na.
Okay, so in this part here we will analyze of what does calibrated model performance rating attained. So this process is iteratively done until the performance rating of the model attains at least a satisfactory rating or a higher rating. So the fifth one is to identify areas for potential improvement.
So for the methodology, first thing we're gonna do is to set up HMS model through GeoHMS. So so mag-generate me og sub-basins and river channels of Arga watershed. So in this process, ma-obtain na mo ang Arga Watershed Basin Model using a 10M resolution digital or DEM digital elevation model. So next, this basin model is then calibrated using the HEC HMS and other data to produce a rainfall runoff model. So kaning nga part is yan na lang. So kanina part kay mag-adjust mig mga parameters na mo like the kanang initial obstruction sa curve number, sa the time of concentration, and then we will then we will then um compare this one sa during sa among calibration. So next part is we'll have the discharge computation and rating curve generation. So para na mo means wala man may equipment and I think mahal pud mi siya. So we're gonna make use of the float method to compute for the discharge. And then after that one, after gathering the measure data, then we will establish the rating curves. So for the calibration, so we will compare our simulated and observed values. So to so naman may mga parameters anino nga i-adjust. So to assess our the strength of our kuan. Nakalimot na noon ko. To assess the relationship, the linear relationship of our simulated and observed values, magamit ni ay mag-compute ni sa root mean square error and sa isa ha, nawagtang. Mag-compute ni sa RMSE para makita na mo if among model kay naa siya, if better fit ba siya ang among model. Then for the person correlation, this is to assess the strength of the linear relationship between the observation and the simulated value. So next is the performance assessment and rating. Kuha lang in general lang anong kana atong gigamit. Kato ako tong gisan sa GC, wait lang. Katong for continuous simulation, blah blah blah. Okay, na. Kanang amo ning gamito na mga kana. O dirag Bisaya. Nagbisaya ba mo ganina wala? Bisaya na lang. Bisaya na lang na. Ay ani na lang gigamit ni namo for continuous simulation para ma-predict ang mga model ingana na lang. Ayon na lang i-mention balik. Mura na. Mura na no. Natay ka ng changes baron or unsa?
Clear, clear.
Oo.
Unsa akong kanang sa gamay nga kanang sulti aning identify areas for potential improvement ba sa objectives.
Wait.
Simutan na si Miss ba?
Mm,
Siya ka na more on suggestion, ano? Ay, more on,
ay, i-erase na lang ni nato.
sige. So, for,
Na. Doktora to kung pag balikon daw nako ha, ma-practice ko. So for our methodology, miss, first thing we're gonna do is to set up HMS model through GUHMS. So sa kanina part, sa among DEM, since dako man ang Argao watershed, magamit mi og 10M resolution. So in this process, maka-obtain mi sa Argao watershed basin model. Next is saan na ako pag-ingon. So this basin model, ako na lang ning basahon is then calibrated using HEC-HMS and other datas to produce a model, a rainfall runoff model within the catchment. So next is, so after namo nakalimot ko. Generating the basin model. So we're not really familiar with the software yet, but all we know is naami mga inputs ani like mga time series datas, and for this part we will also adjust the parameters like the initial obstruction, the curve number, the time of concentration para sa among pag-calibrate. So next part is the discharge computation and rating curve generation. So since mahal man kaayo ang mga equipment and wala sad mi kahibaw if asa mi makaborrow, so we're gonna utilize the float method. Ako pa ni-explain ang float method. Dili na guro no kay kahibaw naman as miss. So sa among paagi ani miss, among gamiton kay mag-float method ni sa pag-compute sa discharge computation. And then after getting the discharge, mag-establish din ni rating curves. But what if mangutana si miss ba? Unsa na to ang rating curve? What is that for? Unsa na siya? Unsa na to si miss? Guys. Unsa na to?
balik ka clear sa? Eh,
Dito.
unsa clear if
What if mangutan na si Miss ba? Unsa ning rating curve? Unsay gamit niya?
Ito, so wala mo nagbasa. Wala mo kabasa di ay.
Wala, Miss.
Kanang wala po. Gusto din ang wala pa kaya tayo. Kasabot na si Miss.
Kita, uy. Ubaan man ko.
Balik ta. Sagod.
Sa ayo sa. Ako sang i-organize ako ang kuan ha. Isulti. Kay murag lahi-lahi man.
Ikaw na sa nakapag.